American Timelines is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network. Find out more at queencitypodcastnetwork.com.
So now I'm obsessed with time. Come on, tell me about the time. Had it all in my hand tonight. Had the time of my life. When the words all come down like blues on Tuesdays gone down. Throw it all away. Throw it all away.
Welcome to another episode of American Timeline's Friend Check. This is the podcast sub-series of American Timelines where we check in on our American friends on the American social media platform called Facebook. How many friends do you have? Do you really know the people who are your friends on Facebook? Well, I'm taking the opportunity alphabetically to go through all my friends and try to have a conversation with them on a podcast and find out, why are we friends? Who are you? Who have you become since I last saw you in person? This week we have Aaron Sinclair, who I knew in college as James Aaron Tecumseh Cook, who was an actor in the theater department that I was also involved in. But he was a senior when I was a freshman, so we only were there for 1 year together. And I don't remember really interacting with him that much, but you just become friends with people that everyone else is friends with. So we had a good conversation. We talked about ghosts in the theater. We talked about anxiety and with actors on stage. We talked about robotics and bugs and the Northland Vikings, home of Dwight Yoakam, where he went to high school. I even found out how compact discs are made. We talked about Metallica a little bit. So join us for this conversation. Hopefully you find something that's interesting, especially the ghost part. And we even talk about diarrhea a little bit. So thanks for listening to this project we're calling Friend Check as part of American Timelines. Here we go. This was actually recorded, by the way, in March of 2023. Sorry it took me so long to get to it, but we'll get through them all. Thanks, everybody. And please check on your friends. A new question has jumped to the top of my list.
Okay.
Just because I see your microphone. Do you record podcasts or voiceovers or something?
I do some occasionally, audio drama work.
Nice.
So
Yes.
This is the mic I like to use for it.
Yes, audio drama. That's exciting. Okay, so Aaron Sinclair is here. This is Aaron Sinclair, my second friend on Facebook, alphabetically for some reason.
Pseudo-alphabetically, because we
pseudo-alphabetically
that...
by first name, but not by last name, apparently, because there's 5 Aarons and it's not going alphabetically by last name on the Aarons.
That's
so
strange.
we don't know why.
We're trying to figure out how and why Meta ranks the friends like they do, because we're not
like an
monkeys.
age ranking or something like that.
There's got to be an age. I didn't think about that, or how long we've been friends, maybe, or
that makes the most sense.
I mean, I don't know when we became Facebook friends, but that can't be, because the third guy I've known like really a short time, and the last guy is Aaron Vasco, we went to school with. Like, I've known him forever, but maybe he didn't get on Facebook till later or something.
See, that's
who knows? That's a whole thing.
That maybe all that matters to Facebook is Facebook.
Somewhere along this journey.
You're just here to listen to us talk about Facebook.
Let's get into the algorithms of it. It sounds very fascinating.
Yeah, none of us have a coding background.
Somewhere along this journey, we'll find out how that.
Do you have
works.
a coding background, Sinclair?
I do not. I mean, a little HTML, but that's about it.
Okay, hypertext markup language.
There you go.
Which I love saying.
From like 2000 or something.
Yeah, I knew that. Like, probably 99. I taught myself
like before style sheets.
So. Yeah. CSS. I was trying to learn that, but didn't really know. So we don't know what this is or what it's going to do or where it's going to go. But just kind of like I spoke with you, is just going through alphabetically to see who are my friends, who are the friends on Facebook. How do you use social media? Mm-hmm. The first guest we had, AJ Foster, is a comedian, and he uses Facebook. Generally, he's going to add anybody who could lead to gigs, and that's what Steve and I were just talking about before you joined. Is that, if I'm somebody who pays you to do comedy, and I live in Charlotte, you're in Houston, I friend you on Facebook, you're obviously going to add that, and he's trying to get better about using it for that. So part of what we want to know is, well, tell us who you are and what your kind of day-to-day life is.
That's
and then
such
how
how do I even define?
We're gonna start
Right.
light.
So it's essentially exactly who do you think you are as a person?
Well, I know. I feel like sometimes we'll get people who are. I am right today. I am a waste management professional or something, and I won't know that. And then we can get into how you know us. But I figure we'll start with you and how you use social media. Like, are you somebody who just adds everybody in the world? Like,
no. Well, maybe I guess it's evolved over time. Maybe to go back to the first question, who am I? Aaron Sinclair, full name James Aaron Tecumseh Sinclair, and I'm sure we'll probably get into that.
So it's Jats.
Jats is what a lot of people in town here call me.
Do they?
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool, man.
It works. It's better than Jatsy back in college because my last name was Cook back then.
Yeah.
So that's one of the first things I think right away we want to bring up, like the name thing.
Yeah.
How is that a sensitive subject? Like how it changed and why your name changed?
No. It's pretty strange. Like I guess it kind of goes off into a couple different tangents because it's like, why do you have 4?
Yes.
Right. And
I've never known. That's a thing.
Like I didn't choose it. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't born. I was like, you shall have 4 names. They just
I always thought it was a
that.
stage name. I thought you chose to do that.
No, that's a totally legal binding document my biological parents gave me.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you've been James Aaron Tecumseh Cook as a child up until college.
Yeah.
As an elementary school student, you were James Aaron Tecumseh Cook.
Yeah.
Holy cow! I was way off on that. I totally thought because it's a theater. I knew you as a theater person, an actor.
Right.
Totally thought that was like a fun stage name. You came
No.
Yeah, wow.
James is my my parents divorced when I was very, very young. So my biological father, his name was James Cook.
Okay.
And his father's name was James Cook. And I want to say there's another James Cook 5 back too.
Oh my God.
And so it became he'll be a James Cook. And somehow it didn't end up with a 3rd or 4th. Like James 6, like 5 names on some level, right?
Yeah.
But my mom wanted to call me Aaron. Well, actually, she originally wanted to call me Eric. There's a whole side story on that. So Aaron was the name that I would go by. Tecumseh, I'm still trying to figure that one out. Like they told me when I was younger that my paternal grandfather wanted Tecumseh in the name because I was related to the Native American Tecumseh.
Okay.
And I mean, looking at me, the hot
it's
Scottish.
Obvious.
I mean, it's clear.
No. It's clear.
Although there's picture, if you go to the Ohio Museum down here in Columbus, I stood next to the picture of Tecumseh, and vague resemblance. We're both human, so that's kind of cool.
You got some eyes in your head and a mouth on your face.
Eyes and mouth,
right? So that's why that was in there. When we did some ancestry research, though, there was no, at least at this point, there's no DNA showing that relationship. So it's kind of weird why that would be. Although, my grandfather's grandfather is James Tecumseh. So it's like maybe it was a throwback to his own grandfather.
Interesting.
Which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that is so interesting.
So that's the 4 names thing. And I mean, like I would never go by James, and God forbid Jim, especially since the divorce. Like I'm not going to be James.
Yeah.
So I'd be Aaron, but the records would always be James.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you reconcile? And it was always 3 names, not 4. And like, how do you reconcile it's actually me? So it's like a weird, this is me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the official record, as if 200 years from now, people would be like, well, I got that thing from that James Aaron Tecumseh. It is legit. That is really him. It's no forgery happening.
Yeah.
You can pinpoint him all the way back.
Well, because, and then seeing your Facebook, honestly, seeing your Facebook name is Aaron Sinclair, it took me a second to realize who you were, even when I was going through that. I was like, who? Because I doubt, I mean, I don't know when you changed that, but I've assumed we were friends on Facebook before you changed it to Aaron Sinclair. I would guess. So
the Sinclair was right before my first marriage. She was a women's studies major, and we had a long conversation about patriarchy and pushing down the male last name and that sort of stuff. But I wanted to have a common family name,
right?
And I didn't like hyphenates, so you have to have that kind of discussion. Yeah. And she had actually changed her name in the past before, and she was considering a bunch of options. and one of them was St. Clair, and I have Sinclairs in my family, and so
Oh,
it made sense to go Sinclair, and we'll both take that one.
so you guys
Nice.
both changed your name to a new name.
That's
Love that
that's
idea.
cool. That's
So
cool.
I worked with a gal whose last name was, oh man, it was Gross, and her partner's name was Roman. And when
Ooh.
they got married, they became Groman, which was one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
That's
Like they
wonderful.
both changed their names and they combined their names, kind of like a Bennifer type of thing.
Like
And then-
Voltron.
Yeah, and then when
Exactly.
they adopted kids, their
Well,
kids were all
Two
it was
of
yeah,
us.
like Voltron. They were like Voltron to me, and it was really cool. I always thought that was cool. So hopefully, I can connect them. Yeah, I love that kind of thing. Okay, so that's where Sinclair came from, a marriage, and it's not a hyphenated. Because can you imagine if it was a hyphenated?
Right.
How many names you'd have now? Like,
Right. Just I got 4 that had 5. You could maybe add a 5th in there if you really wanted to.
but you're still James Aaron Tecumseh Sinclair.
Yes. I mean,
And
legally.
Jats is a cool thing to say, I would think. I mean,
Yeah.
do people call you Jats?
Yeah. My wife doesn't call me Jats. She doesn't like that people call me Jats as much as other people like calling me Jats. But some people, they do. I'll just totally find it. Like it makes like that one word that's your name, like Madonna, Jats. That I can understand that would be simpler for some people, especially if you don't know. Just call me Aaron. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. So that was your first wife that you guys did that, and you have a second wife. You've since
correct.
been divorced and remarried. Now
Mhm.
is this new wife named Sinclair also?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's
The old wife went back to her original
really
last name that she had changed it to before she met me.
Nice.
Yeah, so she
Wow.
went back to that.
Okay, okay, interesting.
Which is fine.
But you have children?
I have a stepson. I mean, he's as much of my son as any son could be.
And he's is he a Sinclair?
He is not. He is not.
Okay. That's a stepson. That's with your current wife.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay, but you didn't have kids with the first wife. Okay,
No.
gotcha. I was just wondering, like, what would the kids be named then? How does that
Right.
work? But that's cool. Awesome. Yeah. So I always feel like sorry to pry, but this is a podcast about you, so I have to pry. Interesting. So what do you? Yeah, that's so. Just the name. That is so interesting. I've always kind of wondered that, and I don't think anybody has been able to clear that up.
No.
Nobody's really asked.
Yeah,
I mean, which
nobody's
is weird,
asked.
right? Like, why do you?
I can't believe so because I asked a couple people before we did, so
That's
and
just the
nobody
way it
knew,
is,
nobody knows about the Sinclair or whatever. But Kane, I figured Kane knew you the best. I don't know why, because I think I met you and Kane around the same time, and you guys were both like theater people that I didn't know. Like when you come into the theater world, it's like it's so intimidating. There's all these people that all know each other and all theater people, and you assume they're all best friends and you're just a stranger,
they're all best friends.
That's what it seems like as you're older, but then now I realize the younger people. But so the theater world is how we know you. So so what do you do? But what's your day like? What are you now? Like what would you say, like if you were on a game show and somebody was like, oh, James
Mr. Sinclair,
Aaron Sinclair, what do you do?
I am a IT security professional.
Ooh.
Nice.
I'm a program manager, so I oversee
SAP?
No, attack surface, vulnerability management, and user awareness is my current.
Wow, that sounds.
I just started like 6 months ago, so it's like, I should probably, that's because I was a infrastructure project manager for years before that, with IBM and Wells Fargo.
Oh wow!
So got into IT after. After school, I did the requisite acting, waiting tables. I mean, you kind of have to do that. I did that in college too. So did some of that, then went into manufacturing and worked nights in a plant, manufacturing DVDs and CDs. Actually, CDs, because DVDs were new. And so there were prototype lines that I eventually got to use from Sweden to try to figure out how to make DVDs and work with engineers and stuff.
Whoa, like you're like physically making them.
Yeah, like
wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Totally fun. I mean, I have a soft spot for manufacturing. You're making widgets, and it's like from nothing to something physical. And these physical things contain stories and music and information.
Archives.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally wild, and it's optical.
Scrolls.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Like I mean, and this could be the rest of the podcast. Just tell us how CDs are made. How was it? I know
Well,
it's
just-
optical. You know, you have to make it an optical reading. I mean, that I've never met anybody that's made CDs and DVDs. That's whoa.
It's a pretty interesting process. We didn't. I was in the replication line, so before us, obviously people would do their music. It would be recorded on a digital format, and they would use a laser, I believe, in the mastering process to. It's almost like a vinyl where you inscribe the digital binary onto
it's
it.
a higher end. It's like the blending of vinyl and magnetic tape.
Yeah,
but
and it goes
it's on like a fucking I want to say like a super dense foil, but something.
Yeah, it's like a piece of metal, and it's like about this big, I want to say, if I'm remembering right. And they would very carefully hand these off to us in sort of a clean room environment sort of way, and we would slap them into injection molding presses and run some samples. And so the injection molder, the plastic would come in, injection mold onto the master, and that would engrave that material onto the plastic, and then send it over to it was
your master a
called.
Mirror?
What's that?
Was your master it was a mirror? Was it a mirror? Just it's beautiful.
They had like it's not electrolysis, but I can't remember. Anyway, so the piece of plastic would go into a cathode, and there would be an aluminum or gold. I don't remember all the terms. It would sit underneath the cathode, and when it would fire, it would make particulates of the aluminum or the gold that would go on the CD. That's why they're silver. Okay. And then it would go out of there and then go through a spin coating, so it would protect that layer, and then go through an optical reader, and then go out and make a bunch. I mean, you'd cook them through so fast. It was really fascinating.
That's
wonderful.
That's fascinating.
That's wonderful.
Every time I hear something like that, I realize how stupid I really am. Like I don't know how anything works. Like,
well, it's you have a different focus. It's not you're stupid. It's just
How would you know? Like I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, canning beer. Like the first time I saw at a brewery, like how, oh my god, that's how that works. I had no, but I'm just so caveman at heart.
No,
but that's so interesting.
How do they do that?
DVDs are even more interesting because they have two even thinner discs, and you shoot material between the two and smash them together. So you have double the information. Yeah.
So there's double. So they're on top of each other. So
it depends on if it's a DVD 10, a DVD 9, or a DVD 5. So a 10 would be the two-sided ones that we used to get, and the 9s are like there's two sides, but they're facing the same way, and the 5 wouldn't have information on the other side.
Wow. And I guess Blu-ray is probably.
I have no idea.
Similar. You don't know.
That's before my time. You were there Blu-rays.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You had to work with what you had at the time. So that's what you did before. But that was before you got into IT.
Right? Yeah, that was my first real job.
The Blu-ray contains more information on the input laser because it's a blue laser, whereas a HD DVD is the red laser, so it's shorter, so there's less information.
Really? That's why it's blue versus red.
I'm guessing.
Red.
This is such an informational podcast.
Yeah, I smoke a lot, dude.
It'll never be that again. Right. This is the most informational I'll ever be on this, probably.
So how does this work?
So you're in Columbus, Ohio, you said?
Near, yeah.
Oh, so are you in? Well, I don't know. What?
I'm just outside, like west side.
So what? So are you in like a suburb of Columbus?
No, totally different time. No, I'm way on the west side. I'm like, you probably don't know London. It's a small town.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that. I mean, I drive. So I live in Charlotte, North Carolina now. Steve's in Bowling Green, and I sometimes drive. Well, once or twice a year, usually twice a year, I drive back up to Toledo where my mom still lives. So I go there all the time. So we go cut through all those, Chillicothe. So you're an IT professional, and you have a stepson and a wife, and you live all together. How old's your stepson?
He's graduating college soon, so that gives you an idea.
What college?
Mount
17. He's like Doogie Howser.
No, I'm sorry. What did you say? What college?
Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon. Okay. Where's that?
In Ohio.
Oh, it's in Ohio. Okay.
Yeah.
Close by?
No, it's a few hours.
Okay.
But that's close enough. I mean,
what's the mascot, the team mascot? The fighting.
I don't know.
Fighting
So,
Vernons.
so he must not play any sports at all, right?
No.
Is it Mount Vernon University?
Nazarene.
Are you looking it up, Joe?
Yeah, just because
Okay, well,
I have
I
a thing where I
he
need
has
to
an
know.
obsession with
I have an
With
obsession
mascots?
with mascots.
There's
and
something you
team
want to talk
colors.
about? I
colors.
mean,
Well,
it
not
Not
doesn't
like a
have to be about
furry
me.
Oh,
It could be
they're
about
Not
team-
a
you.
furry thing.
Their team colors are green and blue, home of the Cougars.
There you go.
Home
He's
of the
happy now.
Cougars.
That's all he needed to know.
Well, that's not quite all. I also need to know if I can find it. Notable alumni,
That's sorry, I forgot.
which I don't see on this website. So this must be this is a small school. Not that that's a bad thing, but
Not that notable people don't come from small schools.
well, that's annoying. So high schools are that's my big. It's more high schools are my thing. Then, so what high school did you go to, and what were the team colors and the mascot?
Well, I lived on the north side, so that was Northland. And ours was green and gold, Vikings.
Oh,
Our rival was Beechcroft.
you were the
Cougars.
Northland Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Fitting.
So you're
Fitting.
from Columbus originally?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So your notable alumni include Dwight Yoakam.
Yes.
Wow, Dwight Yoakam went to your high school. Wow, I don't think I know many. Trey Burke played for Michigan, basketball.
Basketball?
Player. Yeah, basketball player. I know him just because my family's Michigan fans. And then Fly Union, a musical group. Have you heard of that?
No.
Sorry, that's a thing. I just maybe we'll bring this into this podcast. I'm going to tell you more about you than you know about you.
This is fantastic.
This can tie. This is how it ties into American timelines.
Yeah, that's podcast.
This is one of the things. We're part of a pod. This will be part of a podcast family.
So, okay, so you do IT, and you're not somebody who, but you don't just add everybody on social media, right? You add people you've met before. You remember, like us, we're friends on Facebook because you remembered us from college, and that kind of segues into how you know us. We all went to Bowling Green State University, and we're in the theater department. And I'll just start with what I really remember from you. I remember seeing, I think one of the first plays I saw when I got to BGSU was Run for Your Wife. And you and Julie Carr just stand out. I don't know that I could name anybody else in that.
Really?
There
was Brian Wright. There was Dave Chapman.
Brian Wright. That's right.
That's right.
I remember Brian Wright was like a lead, but you were so great in that.
Justin Tharp was in that.
Oh, Justin Tharp was too. Okay. All people that, like, again, if we have them on here, they're people I never really knew because I was a freshman. I was coming in. You guys were older, kind of getting ready to leave, but you were so great in that. And this is one thing I said to the guys ahead of time before I was interviewing you is you played a gay guy with a Hawaiian shirt, and you were so good in that that I honestly thought you were gay. Like, I had no idea.
Okay.
You were, you did
until
such
relatively
a good job.
recently.
Oh, until like just
what?
I had no idea.
Come on now.
I didn't think he was serious at first, and I've known him since we were children.
I don't think we really interacted much between that and college. I mean, we were in the same areas, but I don't think we ever had a chance to really. I didn't really get into the theater world till a bit later, but I know we were in the same circles. But I also assume everyone in theater is gay. Like, I just assume everybody's gay first because it's theater. There's so many gay people. But you were so good at that I was honestly, when anyone was like, "No, he's married," whatever. I was like, "Oh, I don't know why he was just so good." I remember that role, I guess, so clearly, and I think I was just so new into the college theater world, was so intimidating to me. And it was like a big play. It seemed like a huge play in a huge world that I didn't know that I could fit into. I definitely was intimidated and didn't think I could fit in. That play was so good, I thought. And Julie Cargis, was that when she was Lofty? Like the Lofty.
Yeah.
So every time I saw Julie Cargis after that, was only like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I would say, Lofty, and she would always laugh and crack up because I didn't know if she even knew who I was or anything, but I would just say Lofty to her because that was so funny to me, and that play was so well done. Anyway, so that's, I think, I remember to this day you had a mustache and a Hawaiian shirt, and you were so good. So that's sound stupid probably, but that's
No,
how
not
I
at
know
all.
you. But I
That
was
play
so
is one of those
impressed.
ones I wish I could go back in time and watch, and not just to see myself, but the audience was there have such a great time
Yeah.
watching, specifically I think Paul and Brian. I mean, they just work so well off of each other. I would just love to know that experience. Like I wish I could wipe my brain,
And
go back in time
go back
and
and
watch
watch.
it, because they were having a riot.
I mean,
I haven't heard a crowd laugh that hard ever.
was it an Eva Marie? Was that an Eva Marie
Mhm.
Saint? Yeah,
Yeah.
the big
Sounds
theater.
like, yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, listeners, at Bowling Green State University, there were the two biggest theaters at the time were Eva Marie Saint and Joey Brown. And they're both small compared
Neither of them
to
exist.
the world.
They don't exist.
They don't
No.
exist anymore.
They don't
How many
exist anymore.
seats was Eva Marie? Was that like
How
500
many?
or 700 or
I never worked
anybody have
house.
any idea?
I'm gonna guess
I
500.
like you're good at estimating seats. If you think, yeah, like if you remember like 500, I'd put it definitely between
Well, I know now
350 and 5.
Yeah, it's definitely 5. At least
Well,
5.
there you go.
at least 5 because Joey
Yeah.
was like 300 or something, or
Really?
200 maybe.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I
It was
remember,
big.
and now that I'm in the theater,
Yeah,
I've
Eva-
worked for a
yeah.
performing arts center.
Yeah.
I'm blown away that those theaters seemed huge to me, and I'm like, oh, these aren't even the size of our small. Like Joey Brown was like smaller than our.
Well, Joey
smallest.
Brown is like was a wonderful little basement
It's
theater.
like a little black
yeah.
box. Yeah.
Like I love, like, my favorite theaters. Nothing against Eva. I really enjoyed the main stage I got to do, but I really enjoyed Joey, and Elsewhere was my favorite. I absolutely loved Elsewhere.
I love the different flavors of spaces that we had access to.
Yeah.
I feel like I missed out on not being able to perform in Joey or elsewhere, because I loved seeing the shows in those spaces because they're so intimate. We're doing classes
Yeah.
in those spaces.
Yeah.
Doing a scene on Joey, the audience is right there. You have a little bit of space, and it's just I don't know, it's just cozy.
Yeah.
So were you a theater major? Like, were you in theater your all 4 years, or was that you just dabbled?
I was a creative writing major with a
Nice.
theater minor.
See, I didn't know that. I just assumed you were a theater major.
And kids, if you're listening, you can be a creative writing major and still work in IT and make.
That's right. Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay
So
in
don't-
school. Get that paper, kids.
That's why I think kids
That's
are so
right.
scared now.
paper
Like
leads to paper.
my son's 17, he's getting ready to go to high school or college, and he's doing computer engineering in high school, and he realized, I don't want to do this, and he doesn't want to go to college because he doesn't want to do computers. He wants to be an entomologist now all of a sudden. So it's like,
Oh, okay.
I want to work on bugs. I want to be outside. I don't want to be inside of the computer.
That is fair.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what?
Plus-
Money's not everything, and who cares? But you also don't have to decide right now. If in 5 years you decide you don't want to work on bugs anymore, you can always
Right.
go back to the IT. So that's
Skills,
he can carry on the IT through certifications while he
absolutely.
follows a passion in the sciences.
he's already certified in like a few of them from high school.
Exactly.
17.
So he's, let that kid play with bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
be
what I told him.
outside,
Yeah.
enjoy the fresh air, play
Go
with bugs.
outside. Yeah.
All the skills are going to translate. I mean, if he's into sort of dissecting bugs, understanding how bugs work, how their interactions are. I mean, computer networks are very similar.
Yeah.
You dissect those attack surfaces, and
That's a good point. I'm going to bring
And
that up
early
to him.
in the way we're moving in computing, fluid computing, is our robots, our most effective robots are already based on bugs. Are already, once we can find the link, once we can figure out how to get our small robots to communicate like fucking ants, we're fucked. We're screwed. They're gonna eat us alive and take over our brains, and we'll be the meat puppets.
be sure to pass that over. I don't know what's going.
Pass me some of what you're smoking.
No, but it's totally true. Then he could use the biomechanics of bugs in robotics. I mean, there's a clear connection between computers and bugs.
So Jats, would you say your main job is? Is your job exist because of hackers and things like that? Are you that kind of security, like protecting hackers from getting information?
Yeah, protecting data.
Protecting data and things. So I just found out Chick-fil-A just got hacked. Is that your fault?
Did they really?
Is that your fault?
No.
Well, that's cool. So, because that's a big job. My father-in-law was in the reason I asked about SAP because he was doing securities he didn't like it either, but he just wanted to make some money and be done. And so he did that for a while and he hated it, but he was good at it, whatever. So, that's interesting. Okay. So we've dabbled into who you are and what you do now, what your day to day is. And, you live in Columbus, outside of Columbus. Are you in the office 5 days?
I work from home.
You work from home all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I've been lucky enough to work from home pretty much. Oh, you're going to see a cat here for a second. He's an ancient cat. So
pets. That's what we should ask about is pets.
If I don't appease him, then
What's your cat?
You might see him. That's Cayman. You might see him. He's an orange fluff at some point. He'll start meowing.
Yes, I love cats.
Little marmalade.
How many pets? How many pets do you have total?
Just the one right now. We used to have 2 cats together, but he passed away back in 2019.
Oh,
this is, I don't know if you can see.
Yep, I can see his head.
Yeah,
that's friggin' Garfield right there. That's Garfield.
So he's going to be, now I'm Dr. Evil, right?
Oh, yeah, now you're Dr. Evil.
I'm talking, so he thinks I'm talking to him.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. So you can talk if you need to talk in a baby voice, that's fine.
It's going to be okay. I love you so much.
So,
what was it?
Steve, do you remember when you first met Jats?
I remember the first time I saw him. I saw Aaron. You were James Aaron Tecumseh Cook at the time. And then, both times. The first time was I Hate Hamlet.
Okay.
One of the performances you guys did. The high school we went to sent me, a friend of ours, Ruck, and I want to say a couple other people to see it for like a junior achievement type deal. And there's a little Q&A afterwards. And it was around the time that fucking Gibson's Hamlet came out. So there was a TV and scenes were shown. And I don't remember who directed the show, but they did a talk because we weren't the only high school kids there.
I think Scott directed that one.
Okay. I do know that I am pretty sure we were the only unattended high school kids. Like everyone else seemed to have parents around. And
you guys are mayhem?
Yeah, well, we were tightly packed in the corner. And then
was that where was that at, Steve? What
that
theater?
It was
Eva.
And then on 4th floor was the meet and greet type thing.
And you went to that too?
Yes.
And
was I there?
Yeah. What?
Was I there? I don't remember.
I think you might have been, but I don't think any of the students that were there got to talk. I think it was I think it was mainly, I don't remember that much other than I remember seeing you and I remember the behind the couch effect where like pillow fluff flew up. The only reason I remember that is because McKeon told me about her doing that years later.
That's Maggie McKeon, right?
Maggie McKeon.
Who?
And then the second time, I actually met you was auditions for CD players that following fall.
Really?
Yes, because I got in.
Auditions for what?
CD players.
Is that the improv thing you were telling me about?
Yeah.
Now what year was this? Was this while we were in school?
Yeah, this was fall of '94 because it was after Bird audition for the Birds.
And so there was an improv troupe called, say it again, CD
the
players?
CD players,
like CD, the letters C and D.
C and D.
I don't remember there ever being an improv troupe that I was aware of.
I was in an improv troupe called Relationships on the Road.
That's what it was. That sounds. I'm sorry. Familiar. CD players was later.
Relationships on the road.
Yeah.
Did you guys play in like coffee shops and bars and stuff?
Let me think, because we might have had a coffee shop or a bar at one of them, but no, it was Dr. Dina Thomas.
I love her.
Remember Dina?
Yeah,
she started it up.
Yeah,
back in, I want to say 92.
Okay,
maybe 92, 93, and she was the faculty advisor. And the purpose of it was to improvise scenes that were related to social issues. Okay. So you could have a scene about losing a parent, or you could have a scene about a first date, or a scene about safe sex or whatever the topic du jour was. AIDS
Sure. Yeah.
was a big one back in those days.
Yeah.
And so we would go to different schools and do performances. I think she threw in musical numbers. That's right. Oh, we had to do like Billy Joel. Was it Billy Joel?
I remember Smith had a thing with Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yes, he did. Turn around, and
Yeah,
everyone was in a
turn around.
circle, and he was in the middle. And yep.
Mhm.
I remember that too. Yeah, that was
Is
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Is that Jason Smith?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was only in it for a shorter period of time, and then my schedule conflicts, I had to not be in it anymore.
Okay.
So was I directing it at the time when you auditioned? Do you remember?
I think you were one of the directors. I think I went to maybe 3 or 4 rehearsals before I had to bail because it was a night I could work.
Did you work at the diner? Is that where you were working?
No, I was still working in Toledo at the time.
Mm.
I didn't start working at the diner until I want to say like 96.
I think that's when I bumped into you next, was probably the diner.
Probably.
Relationships
That-
on the road. Man,
Yeah.
that all sounds familiar now. I can't believe. Oh man, I barely remember that.
It really
I wish-
teases at the back of your brain.
Yeah, but I remember that being a thing now. There's so many things gosh, you always think if I had it all to do over again, I would have been more, I would have done more, I would have, there's so many.
You've been a contender.
That would have been a contender, yeah. So many things I had the opportunity of, and so, that's interesting. So now is a chance for you to tell us, like, do you even know who the fuck we are? Like, I mean, it really makes sense because we were underclassmen. So for us to really, us know you better than you know us. But I didn't know, when I reach out to you, you can be honest. And the other thing I don't know if I prefaced this whole thing with the beginning. If there's any time when you're like, hey, fuck you guys, I hate you guys because of this, or you guys piss me off because of this,
You
or
can
there's anything-
bail.
No,
Just fucking hang up.
well, you can't bail.
Don't be offended.
No,
What?
but at any time you can say, I really don't like you guys, or I didn't like this about
Yeah.
you, or you pissed me, or you were always a piece of shit. Anytime, and if we need to apologize for anything, let us
Oh,
know.
cool.
I'm gonna tell everybody that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't think of a lot of people I'd have that kind of reaction to from the theater department.
Yeah.
Not that I would
Yeah.
say on general broadcast.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yes.
But no, I have sort of fleeting memories. It was a super busy time, doing classes. We actually went to school, which is weird to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave us grades and we turned in papers allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Yeah, that had hi. Yes, this is what he does. Okay.
Yeah.
For those who are listening and not watching, my cat is rubbing my chin.
And it's very endearing. It
That
is
cat
very
loves
endearing.
you.
Yeah.
He does. I am his world.
But you
Anyway.
graduated. What year did you graduate?
95.
95. Oh yeah. So it was a very short time. So
Yeah. So I
So it
might
would've
have
been
bumped into you,
95, yeah.
Joe, at a cast party, but I knew Andy.
yeah. So you
So
know
I
my
think-
brother better. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw you perform in one of the Pink Coffins flicks that Ank
That's
did.
right. That's right. Yes.
We're all part of the Ankian cinematic universe now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yes. The ECU, baby.
That's right, baby.
are.
Yeah. So you graduated like spring of 95?
Summer, but essentially, yeah.
Summer, essentially. So we didn't even start BG till fall of 94. So it was only really 1 year that we overlapped. So that makes sense why we kind of it's all fuzzy.
Yeah,
We don't
two
really
ships
know.
in the night, and there were many cast parties and other various parties, and a lot more
It's a small town.
imbibing at that point.
Yeah.
It's a small environment, and it took me a long time to get, where I knew anybody or talked to anybody, because I was, again, like I said, I was sort of intimidated by everybody and was just like, I don't know anybody. I don't know if I, you're so insecure coming out of high school. And like,
Yeah, I felt the same way. I mean,
Yeah.
I get the same way even now, or even back then I got the same way, because
Mm.
I'm pretty sure I had some level of anxiety in most social situations, just kind of looking back on behavior and how you cope, and you smoke or you drink or whatever you're doing
Yeah.
You're in large groups of people that you don't know, and you don't know where you fit in. And I totally get it.
I think that's a very common thing for a lot of people. And I think it's funny with a lot of theater people. It's funny you wouldn't think that would be a thing because everybody just assumes you're a theater person. You are outgoing and out there. But like when I was in college, I couldn't walk into a class late. Like if I was late, I would look in the door and I just couldn't open the door. And I had that anxiety about everybody looking at me, but I could get on a stage with 500 people on, but it's like, you're not yourself. Like I'm not me here. I'm me. Like I can't I'll remember Franklin Himes. You probably knew Franklin Himes, right?
That name's fun. An older guy.
Yeah. An older guy. He was my acting teacher, the second acting, whatever it was.
Was he in Macbeth in 95?
I think he was in Macbeth because
he's like a real methody guy.
Yeah, I've heard stories. Like
I know Franklin
sitting under the stairs crying. Whatever. Like he was also the hands of Knight Rider. Like if you watch the beginning of Knight Rider, he's the guy. Credits of Knight Rider. He's the guy driving. He was. And if you look him up, you can look him up on IMDb. And he was in a movie called Death Shot, which we rented one time.
Because it was a Spectrum.
It was hilarious, and he was actually really good in it. But it's a terrible movie. But he was like a villain that was shooting people. But so I remember him telling us in class that he's got an anxiety disorder thing, and that if you see me outside of class and I don't acknowledge you, it's not because I don't like you or anything. I have to assume a character to be able to walk on campus. I'm that anxious. Like I can't be Franklin Himes. And so
I get that.
With an actor, So I don't know if he's still around, but man, I'd love to find that guy. Like I can't imagine he's still alive. Maybe he is. I don't know. But
there should be a study done on that sort of thing. The prevalence of anxiety and depression in the arts. I mean, I imagine it's got to be above norm.
Yeah,
there seems to be a concentration.
It's like a coping mechanism.
Oh yeah,
it really is. And the desire. Like my wife and I both thought of this a lot. Like, the desire. There's got to be something with the need and the desire to be on stage with trauma you've had or anything you've lived with, or what is the need? And because we've both gotten to a time in our lives now where I don't really need to be on stage. Like I do comedy every once in a while, I'll do stand-up, I'll host, but I don't desperately need it. If tomorrow somebody else said I'm going to host the show, I'll be fine.
Right? Yeah.
I don't, and I'm lazy about writing comedy just because I'm like I don't have the. I did a play a couple probably I don't know 2018 or 17 maybe, and it was fun, but I barely got the lines of being an older person now, and I had a lot of anxiety on stage. Like I had a almost full-blown panic attack during a monologue. My head was thinking, what if I fuck this up? What if I freeze? What if I can't? And I'm reciting this monologue. All I could do is live in my head like I could fuck this whole play up right now. What if I just leave stage right now in the middle of this monologue? I ruin this whole play. What if I'm, and I'm standing in an audience full of people staring at me. Everybody's like waiting on my lesson.
Yeah.
I'm saying the lines. My head is not thinking the lines at all. Like I have no idea what lines I'm saying. I'm just saying it, but I'm like, what am I doing? What if I just can't say it? What if I throw up? What if I just leave the stage and never come back? My head's just like I'm like having an internal. And I felt like I could either talk myself into a panic attack, keep going that way, and I'll freak out and I'll ruin the show, or I can just calm down and go back into the character. And I was like, just go into the character. Just shut up. Stop it. You're not going to. Like, I could see in my head, like there was a path I could go down. It was weird.
No, I dig it. Yeah.
And that was like my last time on saying, like
the fact that you had that third person awareness of the path.
It was crazy.
See, that
like
was
watching yourself.
Yeah.
Never once I had that in college. I would always just immerse myself in the show and not think about anything. But
the joy of the early 20s is you can tap into that ego.
Yeah.
You can just,
I don't know. I had a lot of anxiety doing performances back then. Now that I kind of look back on how the body was reacting and like that internal mental, don't fuck it up. What are you doing? Move here, do this. Yeah. Do they see this? Are you emoting and then you get angry at yourself?
Really?
I mean, it can be very stressful. And, on the one hand, you're trying to be not you, which is sometimes easier. And you're trying to have an emotional connection with a group of people. And and this is a safe way to do it. You have a structure to it, to the play, your lines and your character and their reactions and relations to the other actors on stage and your action with the audience, and it's safe because people are expecting to have emotional moments, whereas in real life it's a lot harder of a bridge. There's no already implied structure to that relationship. So I totally understand it. I remember getting sick before pretty much every show.
Really?
Yeah.
So you get like throw up, like fully throw up?
The other way, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Diarrhea?
void that bowels. See, I find that really relaxing. I've taken a hefty.
You find diarrhea really relaxing?
I found it horrifying, but to each his own.
Well, I mean, it's a bowel clearance. I'm sorry to equate it to your diarrhea.
I mean, there is a level anxiety, but I really enjoy it.
There's a level of relaxation of just releasing everything.
It really relaxes me that you have
on
diarrhea.
Stage.
Oh, that's great. That's funny. No, I mean, it's not funny that you had diarrhea before a show. That's horrible.
No, that's horrible. But it's funny that I enjoy voiding my bowels before shows.
I would show up to shows like 3 hours before I had to be there just to match.
I would rather be. Yeah. I have anxiety all the way to where I'm at the theater or at the place of performance. Once I'm there, it's like going on a plane. I've gotten there. I'm done. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah, you're nervous about
everything
flying
I can do. I know
the night before. You're like, ugh. But once you get to the airport,
I'm in a show right now. I'll be nervous. I'll be nervous all day at work before opening night. But once I'm at the theater, I'll make a pot of coffee. And it's like there's nothing for me to do.
That's not good for diarrhea.
Well, no, it helps with me
make you a little twitchy.
Out. Yeah, no, it helps get everything out. I don't like to go on stage with anything on the inside, but
I feel that. I mean, I thought that was a good process because I feel quite empty and good to go.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look back, you're like, bodies probably shouldn't do that unless there's some sort of
body was trying to tell you something.
Right.
See, I'm inducing it with Mediterranean food and coffee.
I mean, I'm scared out of my mind. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So that said, Steve's gonna play right now. I did want a few. When's the last time you did theater?
Theater 2017. I did The Lion in Winter. Got to play Henry.
Oh, so that was beautiful.
That was sort of theater in the round experience too. So it wasn't up on a proscenium, and so the audience was right there next to us. Yeah, and it was.
There's nowhere to run, dude.
There is nowhere to go.
Yeah.
It's almost film-like in that way. People kind of can zoom in and really see those intimate moments.
Oh yeah, and they can zoom in from anywhere. You don't know their angles.
Yeah. It was a real pleasure to be able to do it. I wish more people would have seen it. I mean, it's local theater. Sometimes you get an audience of 50, sometimes you get an audience of 10, sometimes it's 100.
Yeah. Was it in Columbus or what?
Yeah, it was SRO Theater Company. Okay. I don't know that they're around. The director that we had actually passed away during COVID.
Oh no.
So I think it was probably scuttled before that. I think he had actually moved to Chicago at that point.
Wow.
But it was a great show, and I feel lucky that I was able to do it. I feel privileged I was able to do it, and it's probably the hardest thing I've done from a line perspective. I'm not great at accents, so doing accent work and trying to make sure that was right mostly. It was a very challenging experience. I'm glad I did it. I don't know if I could do it again because, like I think Steve, you were saying, or maybe Joe, like you get to a certain age and it just gets a little mentally harder, especially big. I mean, I was on stage the whole time.
Something big like that. Well, I remember being in college and at Huron, the Huron Playhouse, and parents and grandparents, uncles and whatever who would come see the show, be like, "How do you learn all those lines?" And we always thought that was funny. We always that's a joke. Isn't that funny that everybody's like, "Can't believe we learn all those lines"? Like that's the least of our. The hard part of the acting, it's like getting in the character, whatever. Like that wasn't the hard part at all. Now I get why they said that.
Absolutely. It's terrifying.
Because I barely got the lines in the last couple of shows I did. And
man,
some people didn't even get them. Like it was.
Dude, I did a production of Twilight where I found a way to justify just completely dropping most of the monologue into guttural sounds and reactions, just right in the middle of it. Yeah, it got the point across.
It's avant-garde.
But there was a lot of movement and light based in it too. It was already a lot to ask of an audience at that point. So,
well, and that's just it. I mean, being mid-40s and like the memory is really going. That's another reason why we're kind of doing this. Kind of I came up with the idea is that every day I notice how much less I remember about everything. Like,
yeah,
like there's people I talk to every day, and I'll see them. Like, I've known this woman 10 years. I know her well. I've gone out to dinner with her. I know her really well. I know her and I'm afraid to walk over and talk to her because I can't fucking remember her name.
Dude, I felt like that in school. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, really?
Oh, no, I've
names
been like that my
are...
entire life. I
know,
know
man,
I am shit
so
with
hard.
names.
I know.
That's why I'm good with nicknames. You know.
Oh, yeah, or a context, right?
Yeah,
but if you just meet somebody, you're like, oh, I'm gonna remember, and you just 2 seconds, and you're like, well, I can never talk to that person again.
Yep.
I can't ask for their name.
Nope. Yeah, or it's too late. Yeah, sometimes it's too late. Like I've talked to this person too much than to,
right. It's too much. Like you've been too friendly, and you're having a really great connection, but
I can't ask their name now.
So...
Like now, I have to have known their name. So
now you think I hate you. Yeah,
but now it's funny. Like people I really know well. Like it's always been a thing where the people I don't really know, but now I'm noticing like people I've known really well. Like, why don't I remember? Or they'll tell me something like, "Well, I remember when this happened, you did that." And I was like, I don't have any goddamn memory. So part of my thing is like, I'm just gonna we're gonna connect with every single person, record it all, so I can always go back reference.
30 years from now, it's gonna be Joe's last tapes,
right?
No, he's gonna be sitting alone in a room.
Before you did that,
YouTube videos,
yeah, bananas. Right. Just checking back to my reference. So before that show, how long since college? Like, did you regularly do theater before that show, or was there a big long break too?
No, I did. Let's see. I got out of school. I did Huron.
Okay.
I needed those 12 credits.
Yes.
To get out of school.
Yeah, the free A. Yeah, right.
Nice.
And I think I did. Jason Smith directed The Odd Couple.
Okay.
And Hilliard, and I did Murray. I was the cop.
Oh, cool.
And that was back in 05, 06, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well after we were in school.
Yeah, I think I got looped into direct Arsenic and Old Lace at the JCC back in 97, but the producers did not have anything together, and they were like, we're going up in 2 weeks, we need a director. I'm like, you're not going up anywhere in 2 weeks. So I'm like, this show's canceled. Am I in charge? This show's canceled.
Yeah, cancel it.
Yeah. Mostly from probably 06 to 2018-ish would be more short films, commercials, industrials, that sort of stuff.
That's cool.
Which is ironic because I like cameras kind of freak me out a little bit. Like I don't feel 100% comfortable. Like if I want to get an anxiety attack, put me in front of a camera, and that'll be a short way to get me there. It takes a lot to relax and just do a thing and be in a scene like that.
Oh man, you were so fucking wonderful at Paul Ross.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That was at your house.
That was at a friend of mine's house.
Friend's house. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It was at a friend of mine's family house, and you were fucking outstanding.
Oh, you were in the Paul Ross movie. I watched that. Yeah. I know I watched that.
Yeah.
Is that party scene, me and Maggie and Becky?
I gotta go back and watch that again.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
That was a lot of fun.
Movies. That's great. That's awesome.
Good.
So you know Paul Ross. Yeah. So the listeners, check out The Passion of Paul Ross it's on Vimeo, I believe, under the Third Lowe's Productions. I think you can check it out. It's a great film, and you'll see Steve and Aaron on there. Okay. Do we have a little more time? Let us know if you're if you're tired.
I'm
of this,
good.
You got to go. So what about UFOs or ghost stories?
Seriously, that's why you asked if you need to go.
Yeah. I want to ask everybody this because I feel like I have a theory that everybody in the world has at least one ghost story that's happened to them or a family, or they've seen a UFO or a pterodactyl.
Well, I haven't seen a pterodactyl.
I think I saw a pterodactyl one time, but I was very tired when I was driving.
I'm trying to think of a ghost story. I don't particularly believe in ghosts, but it's really hard when you have Eva Marie Saint Theater and Alice
Yes.
because it was Sherlock. It was the Death and Life of Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
And I was playing. I played 4 different parts in that one, and one of them was Roylott, who is at the top of this. There's a bridge. It's like sort of cattywampus like this. It's really, really high. It's probably 11 feet and 13 feet.
Okay.
And behind it would be a waterfall for the big Moriarty Sherlock Holmes fight scene. And at the end of the act, I was walking. There was no rails. I mean, why would there be OSHA safety standards on a theater production?
It's a theater production. Yeah.
It's a
fine.
college theater
It's
production.
fine.
They're college
Yeah.
kids.
College kids bounce.
Yeah.
So I'm walking to go off stage, and it's it's the bridge, so you have to go down a set of stairs. And I swear I got to the first step and something grabbed both of my legs, lifted me up in the air, and I fell down those stairs butt first, bang, 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 and then got stood up. Poof.
That's
And
wonderful.
Jason Smith and who else was there? Tim. I think Tim was there.
Oh my God. So they saw it that happen,
That's
sort of thing?
Yeah, I think because I went and my feet went in there and I guess I yelled "wee." I was like "wee," and that was like I should have been killed. Like it doesn't make any sense.
But
Like
something-
one leg,
something-
yes, but not both legs at the same
Something
time.
made you fall and stopped you from getting hurt.
Yeah,
Well, then
Wow.
I think we was the right response.
I mean, you're going
Yeah.
out. I mean,
Yeah.
that tends to be my we're all gonna die now response.
Yeah, that's
Right,
not
like-
a bad response. Fun is not a bad fear response. You know?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
say
no.
that was in the Joey Brown Theater?
No, that was
No.
Eva.
Eva,
Yeah.
Eva.
That was
So that's
Eva,
Alice. Yeah, Alice was the ghost there, and there was like the man.
Man in Brown.
Those are the Man in Brown, or I thought it was the Man in the Hat Room or whatever. The Man in Brown.
Yeah, yeah,
He was
same.
in the Hat Room at the Joey
Mhm.
Brown Theater. So anybody else listening that doesn't know theater, like probably every theater is supposedly haunted. That's like a thing in the theater world. But
Mhm.
BGSU made like a list of, it was like there was a book called Haunted Ohio where
yeah.
it was
On
in
Ohio
there.
4.
It was at Ohio 4. There you go.
Yeah.
Where Alice was the ghost there, and I feel like it was the Man in Brown or whatever, and the Joey Brown the Hat Room. Maybe it was both theaters where the stage manager, the custom was the stage manager has to invite the ghost
Mm-hmm.
the night before opening night
Mm-hmm.
alone. They have to go on the stage, nobody else there but them and the ghost light, I guess, and invite the ghost, or else all doom is going to happen, right?
Mhm. Yeah, we had a lot of crazy stuff happen during Macbeth.
During Macbeth? Oh,
Yeah.
you can't say Macbeth. Can we say Macbeth now?
I
It's
can
just
say
like-
Macbeth.
Yeah, no,
It's just not
yeah,
in the theater,
yeah.
right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You can't say Macbeth. You can't say, we don't have to say Scottish play right now.
No, we're not
If-
in.
but if we're in the theater, we can't say it, right? Is that the
I mean, unless we want to believe in math,
believe in
we
what?
can say math.
Math?
We can, if we want to believe in math and science, we can say Macbeth wherever we
Oh,
want.
yes.
Yeah.
But theater people get mad at you if you say it.
Oh
They
no,
won't.
I've said it a few times in the theater that I'm on the board of. They don't like it at all.
They'll get very mad.
Weird.
Like, I didn't know that was a thing until
Yeah.
I got like really yelled at.
There's like a whole thing about turning around and spitting to remove like the smear of saying it.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
They-
crazy.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
of you who don't know theater, that's a thing, and this probably be a thing since there's so many theater people, Steve and I know. There's gonna be a lot of conversations about this kind of stuff, and people get mad at us. It's probably out there, but you're so. What kind of thing? Can you remember any of the stuff that happened during Macbeth? Because I think
Yeah.
so. Brian,
Yeah.
my friend Brian McCartney. You know
Yes,
Brian McCartney?
Squeaky. Yeah, we're
Squeaky.
frat
You know
brothers.
Squeaky. Oh yeah, frat brother. Oh, I didn't even think to ask him. So I moved to Chicago after college and met him, and we became really close friends. Like he was in my wedding and everything. So
Oh, shit.
yeah. Like Brian and Jessica.
Yeah.
We lived right by him in Chicago, and we hung out. We started hanging out and did shows together. Did things together and hung out, and so we're actually really close friends now.
Well, tell him I said hi.
Yeah, I will. Shit, I didn't even think you knew him. I didn't realize until you said Macbeth, because then I remembered he had some stories about Macbeth. And he
Yeah,
was
to
talking
stand to or not stand to. I remember his line.
about- Yeah. You remember his line? Yeah, Brian. Brian's great. Yeah. So Brian currently he is Santa Claus every year in the Chicago Symphony.
Wow.
And his daughter Charlotte is close to my kid's age and everything. So I feel like he's told me some things that happened in Macbeth. But Do you remember any of the things like in particular?
I remember something about a prop dagger going missing, and it was missing for most of the show, I think. And then it like appeared center stage, just appeared. And I don't remember if it was actually like stuck into center stage or not, but it appeared center stage.
That would be creepy.
Like curtain up or lights up and bang, it's right there center stage. And that wasn't intentional. I remember something about that. I know our lighting was all wonky too. Light cues didn't get fired.
My only ghost story about the theater was, and it's hard to know. It's like, is this really what happened, or is this from telling it? Every time I tell them, try to embellish it a little bit more. So it's probably very embellished. But
you just shine that.
I was in Blood Wedding with Al Gershutz, who was like a Spanish.
Al Gershutz.
Yeah. Al Gershutz. Remember Al Gershutz?
Yeah, he knows everybody.
Yeah, he's now a rapper in LA named Red Eye. I don't know if you're friends with him on the Facebooks, but
yeah, I don't know if he's called Red Eye on Facebook or if we're still connected. I thought he changed it to something else.
I think his name is Red. I mean, at least last I looked it up. We'll see when we get to Al.
Everybody knows Al. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Al. Yeah. So I was very nervous because Al, his reputation was as kind of somebody who's kind of out there. Like he's not always checked in mentally. Like I don't know. So I had a knife fight with Al in this play. We had to have a knife fight, and somebody got real knives. Like we had real sharp knives. That should not have been the case in college, but we had real knives. So I knew, like, if one of us fucks up, there's a real chance for injury here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think back, like, geez, in the 90s, like, no way could you have a real knife. Like, that was terrible.
No, there was no excuse then to have a real knife either.
No, they really shouldn't have. And again, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Maybe when Steve Boone, Brian Bethune directed it.
Oh, yeah. Brian Bethune.
Remember Brian Bethune? Hello, Brian Bethune. I am Brian Bethune. Hello. An umbrella just appeared in my hand. Oh, here's a black hole. And that's the things we used to say. Like, he was like a magical.
My head will just smash.
Oh, hello. My head is going to pop off my body and fly away now. Hello, I'm Brian Bethune. Anyway, I'm friends with him on Facebook, so that'll be a fun episode. And I'll ask him about the knives. Maybe he'll correct me and be like, no, they weren't real knives. But in my mind, they were real knives. And I knew if anybody made a wrong turn, and I was like, I remember talking to everybody like, Al Gershutz is going to kill me. I'm going to get murdered by Al Gershutz on stage because that guy is out to lunch.
It's just as funny now as it was then.
Yeah. And so I guess opening night, I can't remember the name of the woman who was the stage manager. Anyway, I think they forgot to invite the ghost opening night. And so I'm in a knife fight with Al, and there's a time where Al has to stab this way, and I'm supposed to, go the opposite way. Mm-hmm. And I screwed up, and that's why I say it's the ghost's fault, because I screwed up, not Al, which is probably just because I'm the fucking idiot. But anyway, I dodge into where he's supposed to stab. So Al would have been perfectly justifiable by stabbing me with a real knife because I did the wrong thing. But Al went the right way. Like, he, at the last minute, moved the other way and didn't stab me. And I blamed all that on the ghost.
I'm going to blame all my theater fuck-ups from Bowling Green on the ghost now. Thank you for giving me that out. I've been really, stressing about some things that happened.
Well, now that I'm saying it, that's really just me fucking up. I'm blaming it on the ghost. There was something else I feel like that happened. Maybe it was just that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's always a lot of stuff with Blood Wedding. It was a weird play.
How could I fuck up? I'm great. Al is the crazy one. But Al probably was thinking the same thing about me. Who's this idiot, that doesn't know anything? But Al used to get drunk on bread. I remember that. Like, he had a weird disorder where eating bread would make him drunk. Do you remember that?
That is vaguely familiar.
Huh. I would love to have Al.
And alcohol didn't make him drunk, did it?
No,
did it make him hyper?
Maybe alcohol didn't. I don't think he drank for some reason. I don't know why I think that. We'll find out when we get to the Al Gershutz episode.
True. He's got to be pretty soon. It's in the A's.
Like I said, I think his Facebook profile goes by
he'd be Red Eye, so he's in the R's.
I think he's in the R's, but
you can change your own rules, man.
Yeah, we don't have to stick with that. Like, I don't know how. Well, maybe he's not even on Facebook anymore. Maybe he unfriended me. I don't know.
That goes to the whole purpose of social media now. Like, what is the purpose of social media now?
Yeah, why do we have it? Like, why? Yeah. So that kind of brings up, so why are we like? Why are you friends with me and Steve? Or if it's separate for either of us, like, you just remember us from college?
Um, I think probably the initial connection would be from the Ankian film cinematic universe.
Yes, the
Um,
ECU.
yeah, absolutely. And us being theater people at Bowling Green and having a sort of context similarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thought would be that someday I think there should be a big, huge theater 90s theater reunion. Would be fun, like an Ank theater, even an Ank cinematic universe reunion would
Oh,
be fun.
yeah, coming in a costume.
Everybody's been in those. Yeah, oh yeah, everybody's been in those films. So for the listeners, Brian Ank, look him up online. You can look up his films. They're all under Third Lows. You can look at all of them. It's a whole universe of films, and I think they kind of tie in together.
I think they're all in the same universe.
No,
Yes.
Just different time periods.
Yeah.
Yes, and different multiverses maybe too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love Underground. I'd love to
Yeah.
see him take another sequel or swipe at Underground. I feel like that had a lot of unmined stuff.
Well, are you in Blood Daughter? Everyone else is.
Yeah. I haven't seen it.
Okay,
I'm Jonathan Harker. So
Okay.
It's a
So
wonderful
we are
film.
all three in this next film that's coming out. That's not
So
out
that's
yet.
our connection.
Yeah. So we're all connected in one film in Blood Daughter, which I can't wait to see, because honestly, it was like old movies to me when I filmed it. Like, I had no idea what the film was about, and he was like feeding me my lines as we are filming.
Dude,
it.
I
That is the
remember holding
pure
up cue
Ank
cards for
experience.
you. Yeah.
That's the
That's how
pure
it was.
Ank experience. You're
Yeah,
like,
Pink
what am I
Coffin.
saying?
Yeah, there was no script. It was like, say this line, now say this line, now
That's
say this
brilliant.
line, which
I
was,
couldn't tell.
yeah, you couldn't
No.
tell. Yeah, that's the fun thing about it. It's like there was no script to memorize, so there's nothing you can memorize. He said, make it up on the top of his head. That's a crazy film.
Well, no. In his defense, there was a script. He had a script because I remember I tried to copy it onto cue cards for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For that one, for that,
For your pool scene.
For the current one, but back in
Yeah.
Pink Coffins,
Oh
there
no,
was
back in
script.
Pink Coffins, no, we made it up. Like
Yeah.
that was
Well, he
there
made
were
it
some
up.
script ideas that he wanted to get through, and that was
Yeah,
you
this
could have had scripts for other scenes, but not ours.
Yeah, the more
Let's
recent
give
one,
him
I'm sure,
credit
yeah,
there.
he did have a
Well,
script.
no,
but I
I'm
just
talking
didn't
about
read it.
even. I'm talking about even for Pink Coffins.
Yeah,
He could have had a script for other people's scenes, just not ours.
He had
Because
scripts for Dracula and Underground, so
exactly.
he must
So
have written something.
So
no,
maybe
we were monkeys.
yeah, we were monkeys.
Yeah. So he wrote a lot.
Dance, you monkeys. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What is do you remember your first concert, Aaron?
Ooh. No. Oh, no, I don't. I mean, I can't think linearly in that way. Like the first one that comes to mind is what was it, Metallica and Metal Church and
Whoa.
Oh, that was the Black Tour. I saw them in Blossom
Just-
on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm not
Yeah.
crazy. And
No,
what
you're
was
not
the third
crazy.
group? There was a third group, and it was before those two. Who was it? It wasn't
See, I
Misfits?
it could have been Misfits for you. Like when I saw Metallica and with Metal Church opening for them, it was on the second leg of their Black Tour, and it was at Blossom up in Cleveland.
That tracks.
Now
I wasn't in Cleveland. I saw him probably
No.
Buckeye Lake or something.
Yeah, you saw them, and there's a good chance they had a third group open because of the bigger market.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, that's the one that hits me first. And I mean, I've seen quite a few. I went to a few Lilith fairs. I saw there was a concert with Aerosmith and Poison and a few of the other hair bands, and that was, I mean, it was kind of slightly past their prime. It was like late 90s, but
yeah.
they rocked. They
What
killed it.
about the most recent concert you've been to?
Don't go to many concerts anymore. It was probably a
live
college
show.
college. Oh, well, live show. So we went to New Year's Eve up the street here, and they had a brass band for New Year's Eve playing like 30s, 40s kind of music.
Okay.
Okay,
So that was pretty hip.
That's
pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
Brass band is always good. Everybody likes that. That's cool. Yeah, that was just something I just threw in the last minute. It's like, I want to know what people are seeing. What are you checking out live?
Yeah.
And then
I'd like to do more live stuff. I miss I keep telling people how much I miss Rusty's. Do you remember Rusty's in Toledo?
Rusty's Jazz Cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that place, and I was so sad to hear that it was no longer there, because I would love to take people to old Rusty's, and because they had that fireplace right here, and then they had the the stage up front. It was kind of dark but not too dark, and they made great Long Island iced teas, and you can do marshmallow s'mores at the fireplace listening to jazz.
Exactly.
Oh.
That's a wonderful coffee.
Oh, yeah.
They just had a wonderful dark brew coffee.
And Rusty herself was so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, super nice.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, places like that are now few and far between. If you find a good jazz cafe, man, support it.
Right.
That's the thing. Yeah, we have a little jazz. There's a monthly jazz. They call it Jazz Room at the Performing Arts Center I work in, and it's just a cool feel. It's a cool vibe. They kind of transform a small black box theater into a jazz room.
Dude,
I love it.
And it's just
I'm
cool.
going to steal that idea. I want to steal that idea.
Well, the people that started it, they were displaced. They were from New Orleans, and they were displaced during Hurricane Katrina. They came to Charlotte to escape the hurricane, and then they just stayed here. And they
they
made it a jazz.
Like the Charlotte climate's got to be like the climate you want New Orleans to be.
Yeah. There's a lot of people, I think, that did that have come here. Charlotte is such a weird mix of people from everywhere. Like,
it's booming, isn't it?
It is. It's
sixth largest city in America.
I don't think it's 6. I think
Matt
we're
Truman
just past
Ego
San
Trip
Francisco.
is the greatest band of all time.
See?
But it's the highest. It's one of the highest growing. It's probably the 6th highest or fastest growing, because people are moving.
I don't know.
I think because people from the east, from the coast, are tired of the hurricanes. They're moving west into Charlotte, and people from Florida are tired of Florida, and they're moving north. And people from the north are tired of the cold, and they moving down. So
there's a lot of tech in that city too.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of banking, and tech and finance. Yeah, right. So yeah, I have a good friend who moved from Florida from high school, and he works from home and works in banking.
So what he's saying, Aaron, is you should look into the Charlotte market for a job.
Yeah, come down to Charlotte. I'm also trying to convince every single person on this podcast to move to Charlotte, and we'll start one giant. I want all my Facebook friends to live here, and then we'll all start a big.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of small towns, and you get enough of us spread out in these small towns, we can just link them up and be a political movement.
Or just a new, like, let's start a production company, a giant Hollywood. I remember hearing I was trying to figure out where to go after college that North Carolina is supposed to be the next Hollywood. Like California's going to just break off and go into the ocean and all the mudslides and everything, and everyone's going to move to North Carolina.
Everyone tries to guess.
But I think North Carolina, we do get some film, I think mainly because we are close to New York. It's a non-union area, so everybody can do it cheaply. And there's like Charlotte is a bigger city, so there's streets that look like New York, but then a couple blocks over, it can look like the mountains. It can look like Hazard County.
It's cheaper than Atlanta.
Yeah, cheaper than Atlanta, but it does get warm here. But anyway, so that's. I think my last and final question is now after this conversation, this is probably the longest conversation you've had with either of us.
Yeah, I think so.
So are we?
I've enjoyed it.
Are we friends?
Absolutely, we're
friends. Are we real friends now?
Yeah,
I think we're real friends.
Yeah, now, we have a lot more history to cover.
Yeah, there's a lot more. So I would love to. I really want a cast party for Blood Daughter, and I know he did the premieres, and I know Hank was not happy with the turnout, but we wanted him to have a Charlotte premiere. But
I wanted to make it there, but my father passed away recently, so I wasn't able to make it.
Oh, I'm sorry to
hear that, man. That sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks. Yeah, so that's.
Well, I totally bummered the.
No, well, that happens.
That.
Hey, he's in a happier place.
I did not poop, and it's fine. So
good.
No diarrhea on that one.
No diarrhea.
I'm going back to the anxiety.
Yeah,
that was a callback.
Yeah, but you did not poop in the film or at your father's funeral? At the funeral. Okay. I was like, where did the poop come from?
All right, we'll edit that part out. It's
Did
cool.
you
It's
did
cool.
you have to speak at your father's funeral? Did you have to do a eulogy?
No, I did not. He was a retired homicide detective and retired Air Force, so they did their thing.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Homicide detective. You grew up the son of a homicide detective?
Yeah, he's seen some shit. He was also on Vice too.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. So you probably did you hear stories or did he not talk about it?
No, I probably saw more stuff when I did an industrial with the Franklin County coroner back in 06, 07.
Really?
Because I mean, morticians, coroners, they all have a quirky sense of humor.
Yeah.
They were like, here's some brains. Bump. Hey, have you ever seen a guy killed by a shotgun? Bump. And it's like, whoa, I still see that image of the guy with the shotgun. I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to be showing. That seems like confidential. I'm sure the family doesn't appreciate in my brain forever.
Yes. Or PTSD causing.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
oh my God.
For that $250 industrial gig at night. It was at night too.
Oh my God. It's funny you say that with your father being a homicide detective. You know, I instantly go to, you probably heard of these stories. Like my stepdad, when he passed away, like I knew him as just this goofy guy that always talked about gas. All he ever wanted to talk about is gas prices. Like when I would talk to him, he would talk for 2 hours on gas. He would name the gas prices at every local gas station, you know, in the vicinity. I go over here. That's all he ever talked about. But then after he died, you know, and my grandma too, the same thing. At their funeral, you hear all these stories from people like, I didn't know he owned a bar. Like he used to own a bar in the 70s and they carried a gun on him. Like, what? I didn't know that.
Where's his diary? Let's read this thing.
Why didn't you tell me about that? Like,
that's wonderful.
He's probably got so many stories and he's talking about gas prices. And then like my great grandmother, or she wasn't my great grandmother. We called her that because she was so old. She was just my grandmother, my dad's mom. All we knew is we'd have to go sit on her couch every once in a while. We'd go visit my dad's mom, and she
Mabel.
Mildred, Millie Hart,
Mildred. Okay,
Grandma Hart,
Hart.
Okay, my dad's mom. She would sit and watch golf, and then my dad would argue with her about politics, and we'd have to sit there as kids, like elementary through middle school, and just wait to leave. And she would kiss every one of us on the way in and the way out on the cheek, and it would hurt. She'd go, "Give Grandma smooches." And it would hurt your cheek. It would like hurt. And then she drew on her eyebrows and thought this crazy old woman just sat and watched golf and smoked cigarettes. And then at her funeral, we heard these amazing stories about how her husband was abusive in the 40s, and she took her 3 children and ran away from him and drove across the country by herself from Ohio to Arizona to get away from this abusive asshole husband, and stayed there until he died. But she had to like fight him off and
my goodness,
take them and raise them by herself across the country. And then she eventually came back or whatever. But it's like, and the people are like, this is the toughest woman I've ever known in my life. I'm like, wow, that lady who watches golf and smokes cigarettes.
You could see why she's watching golf and smoking some cigarettes. Man. She's staring at a park, self-medicating at that point.
Like, she'd been through it. I had no idea. In the 40s? Are you kidding me?
Oh man, the
by
40s
yourself?
and 50s were fucked up.
They were fucked up, yeah, and that's
fucking scary.
Yeah, I regularly talk about on American Timelines, my history for jerks. But anyway, this has been great fun, and thank you for doing this.
Absolutely, it's totally my pleasure.
Man, thank you.
I haven't had a chance to talk to a lot of people, you know, face to face from back in the day, and there's so many stories and questions. And what did you think? And what did you see? And what did you hear? And what happened with this? And do you recall this? I mean, there's so much history that's totally lost to time at this point. It's just fun to kind of recap and go back, and we're also older now, so we can kind of have some grace with ourselves
on the picture.
And we all realized we were just children then, so it's like, you know, it's even if you have wronged somebody or did something wrong, like it's so long ago, we can all be like, yeah, I was a dumbass, I'm sorry, you know, kind of thing. But not that, you know, we had that much interaction then, but I would love a big old giant like Theta party or something like that with everybody that was there, you know, that we did shows with, because you really form a bond in shows with people, you know, and performances. And so I would love for that to happen, and maybe this is an impetus for it to happen. The more people we connect with it.
Well, I mean, the more times we drop that seed, I imagine more it grows in other people's heads.
You saying "drop that seed" sounds dirty to me.
Well, me saying anything sounds dirty to you. I just have that tone.
You could always have like different like cast groups too, if you can find cast groups to talk about.
That might be
similar.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be that just about the show, but if you grab, you talked about Run for Your Wife.
That's it. I would love to make that reunion happen too. That could be a side thing. Like, yeah, Julie. Like,
I think Diane.
Diane was in that too.
Name. Yeah, I think there was another grad student too. Mark.
Was Mark.
If I had Facebook right in front of me, I know exactly.
Yeah, Mark. I see his posts all the time. Mark Burnett. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I think he was in that as well.
Yes, I do think so too. Right. Now I'm remembering. So it's probably mean of me to say I don't remember anybody except for you and Julie, but you were so memorable in that I mean, it was just, I mean, obviously you were the comedy relief in that. So that was a great part to have.
I still have one of the sponges, I think, somewhere.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a prop stealer. I'm sorry. I'm a prop saver, I'd say.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a cool thing.
Prop masters give me stuff, and sometimes stuff just happens to need secured in my car. So
I mean, it finds a new home.
Right. I have Moriarty's cane. I have pieces of the waterfall.
Nothing wrong with that.
Is there anything you want to plug? Do you have anything going on that you are like, hey, come check out my
No, actually. I mean, if you go to distressfrequency.com, you'll see some of the audio dramas that we've been working on. Kind of slowed down during sort of the post-COVID stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just starting to crank into some. So I need to do actually some writing for that. To get it cranking in.
So are you in charge of that, or you work on that with other folks?
No, Tony Goines is the producer for it, and a lot of local folks, actors and stuff. I wrote one of them and directed one of them. Wow. Which is Dinner Party, which is I think the first one that was released. And then I'll have bit parts here and there.
Oh, this is cool.
Write a few. It's sort of sci-fi, ghosts, fantasy. You can find a smattering of stuff, horror, some Lovecraftian stuff in there too.
Just horror, sci-fi, and adventure from Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, there's a bunch of episodes on here. Distressfrequency.com. That's exactly it. That's a great thing to plug, something I didn't know existed, and it's art that you're putting out into the world. Yeah. And thank you for continuing to do that. So does that fulfill some of that creative need, for you?
Yeah, I still want to do more writing. It's one of those. I wrote I had a project back in 2011 to 2012 where I wrote at least one poem a day for a year.
Really?
And I published that. And so that's out there too on Amazon. Yeah, it's on Amazon.
What is that called?
Simple Little Things is the large version with all of the poems, good or ill, and Dealer's Choice is the sort of selected poems from college all the way to now.
Whoa, James Aaron Tecumseh Sinclair, Simple Little Things, 365 volumes, 1 through 12. I didn't know that existed. That's the thing I can get on Kindle for free.
Yeah. Check it out.
Paperback for $16.
Fuck yeah, poetry.
You're an author. You're an author here on what you fucking why do you lead with this?
I don't know.
You have you've published 8 titles?
Well, it's probably the 365 project was every month I was releasing them in sort of a 60 to 80 page chapbook. And then they're combined into Simple Little Things. Dealer's Choice is the selected, yeah.
Yeah, wow. You have a whole thing. You're an author. James Aaron Tecumseh Sinclair is an author. I'm going to follow you right now on Amazon.
Sweet.
I got to log in first, apparently.
I can also get a copy and sign it and send it to you if you want to.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Yes. I have to 2-step verification on Amazon for me to follow you, apparently.
Good security protocol. Way to go.
Security. Yeah, you like security. You get it.
Multi-factor authentication. Go.
Just to follow you, just to like you.
I mean, you want to know a real person is, and it's not a bot chasing.
That's a good-looking headshot you got on there, my man.
Thanks.
Oh, my God. You're an author.
Actor, writer.
Wow. You're an author. So author, actor, writer, radio drama, and security, internet security, personnel. I don't know what is your,
program manager.
Program manager. That's awesome. That's a lot of stuff. You should have freaking led with that. I'm going to
I am
purchase.
terrible at marketing myself.
I'm going to
I am
purchase.
terrible at marketing myself. I don't know.
No, yeah, we all are, and I think that's part of the
I don't
problem.
even think about it.
Like, you've done some things, you've been published. That's a huge thing. I think I'm
It's
going to
pretty fucking
purchase
cool,
your book.
dude. You
And
publish
then-
poetry, which is
yeah.
even that's that's fucking dope, man.
Yeah, man, that's great. Everybody, you can buy it. So what do we tell them to? I mean, we said the title already. Simple Little Things, 365 volumes 1 through 12 is on Amazon. Look up James Aaron Tecumseh Sinclair on Amazon. Is there anywhere else we need to look at you or follow you anywhere?
I don't think so. I don't really do much on Twitter or anything like that. I mean, social media for me, like going back to what you were originally, like the first question was, why do you use it? And I think when I originally got on social media, it was to make contacts, follow people's stories, see what happened to people. Because I really liked knowing, like you guys, what happened to these people? What journey did they go on? And it's just fascinating to see, just because you wouldn't expect some of the life paths that some people have taken, and it's just really cool to see people grow and change. And
it really is, and that's the kind of the fun thing about it. I love people, and I love knowing what, we crossed a path one time in our lives, and what have you gone? What have you done? And it makes me think of when I met when I see Mike Lashinsky. I see him far and few between, but it's usually like 10, 15 years before, between we see each other, or 10, and then we just spend the whole time like, hey, remember this person? What are they doing? I don't know. This person. Oh, this person is this person. And we just feel each other. Oh my God, I can't believe that's what that person's doing. And it's so much fun just catching up with people. So that's why, I mean, this is fascinating to me. So this is amazing. Like, you've done some amazing things, and yeah, you should be proud, sir. I'm purchasing as we speak, not on the Kindle. I'm going to buy one of your paperbacks and support your art.
That is awesome. I appreciate you.
Oh, some of them are unavailable.
The 365 chapbooks won't be available. So I recommend either the full one or the dealer's choice is fine too. Those are the ones I selected out.
What is Artifacts? My favorites. A book.
That's the first one that I did myself through Amazon. So it's super tiny. Don't even worry about that one.
Oh, that's temporarily out of stock also.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I will definitely support you. This is great. Awesome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for doing this and meeting with us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for taking the time. Staying our friends.
Yeah.
And
now we're even better friends.
Yeah, we're better friends now.
I think so.
No UFOs though? You've never been abducted by aliens or anything?
No.
Dang it.
I know.
There's still time.
I want to see something weird in the sky.
Yeah, there's still time.
There's still time.
You live in Ohio, weird shit happens.
Yeah.
Right? It's Ohio.
Happen.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll say I'm going to be through the Columbus area in I think July. So I would like to stop and say hello.
Let me know when you're swinging through. We'll grab lunch or dinner or whatever.
Yeah, man, for sure. This is great. All right. Anything else? Anybody else have anything? Steve, you have anything to add?
No, I mean, I think we covered everything. I mean,
everything?
No, not everything.
There's so much more.
Yeah, we didn't get into the whole extra dimensional space between UFOs and ghosts.
Well, and Gruff, you didn't show him your Prince Albert.
Well, like I said, I took that out a bit ago.
Oh yeah.
And no one really. I mean, you can show people an extra hole in your penis, but I mean, no one's really excited. Go. All right.
Oh no. I was instantly regretting bringing that up.
You should.
My eyes.
You almost saw your penis. Anyway, well, it's Sunday night. I'm sure you have better things to do. Thank you for your time. And I don't know. We got to figure out a way to end this. We never figured out last time. How do we?
And scene.
Or wait, what about and friendship?
Oh.
Friend check. We checked.
And
I like it.
I like it. They with a little check. Yeah, nobody can see what we're doing. Yeah.
No,
it doesn't matter. They can
check.
feel it. Friend check.
We're thinking about friend check or friend dip. Like we're dipping in. We're like
friend dip.
Friend dip.
That's a whole different thing.
That sounds gross. Yeah, that's probably a sexual thing.
Yeah.
Friend check. We checked in with our friends. Check on your friends, everybody. Check in with your friends.
You should check on your friends.
Yeah. And that's what we're doing. We're checking on every single one of our friends. And that's how we'll do it.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna stop recording now if I can figure out how to stop recording.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to that episode of Friend Check, the American Timeline sub-series. We'll be back with 1942 very soon. But before that, Gruff and I recorded a special episode about Pearl Harbor. So look out for that too. Talk to you soon, Tom Heads. Thanks for listening. Whoop, whoop. Get out of here, Chuck Berry.